As work continued on her chariot, we were finding out more about the woman who'd owned it. 5'7" in height and approximately 35 years of age, there was no evidence for the cause of her death, but she'd obviously been very striking in appearance. After weeks of work, Caroline Wilkinson at Manchester University had finally rebuilt the skull. And it was only now that I could see what a strange and distorted shape it was. But what had caused this? Could it have been the pressure of the overlying earth for so many centuries?
This degree of asymmetry is very unlikely indeed to have been caused by post-mortem change. The bones are still well mineralized, and it's, I think, inconceivable that they could have been pushed out of shape to that degree. There has been some kind of expanding abnormality in this area, which has elongated the face on this side. This side of the skull is abnormally long. That side is relatively normal. Now that must have happened before the forming bones of the skull had begun to really to fuse together. And things of this type are sometimes called hamartomata. Now the likely one that is involved here would be a hemangioma, which is an abnormality in the development of blood vessels.
As the face of the Chariot Queen took shape, the growth in her cheek began to dominate her appearance.
You can see this hemangioma will have given her distinctive texture and colour to the surface of her skin. We've got an example here of a mild case of hemangioma in a baby, and you can see a very lumpy dark red discoloration to the surface of the skin, similar to a port wine stain. But she will have also had quite a lumpy texture to the surface of the skin round this area of growth. Because it's got quite a large blood supply, an unusually large blood supply, this area would have grown quite quickly with the rate of the face itself and would have continued through her adult life.
Whoever the Chariot Queen was, a tribal leader, warrior, or even priestess, she would have been striking in appearance. The growth that disfigured her face would have marked her out as special, perhaps someone who'd been touched by the gods. And the mirror, a rare and precious possession to include in a grave, might have been more than a simple object of vanity. It could have been seen as something quite magical, giving its owner the ability to communicate between this world and the next. When the Chariot Queen died, her chariot became her hearse. Her body brought to the top of this ridge overlooking her village in the Yorkshire Wolds. In a tradition that may have been ancient even in the Iron Age, her feet and hands would have been bound. Her body was curled up as if asleep, and offerings were placed by her side. The box from her chariot was placed over her body as if to protect her. And then, in a final act of homage, her most prized possession was placed in her grave, the chariot, her transport into the next world.